Ladies and gentlemen, I stand before you today to delve into the profound mysteries of the human psyche. We often perceive ourselves as conscious beings, yet beneath this surface lies a vast and intricate realm, the unconscious. It is within this hidden domain that the true essence of our being resides, waiting to be discovered. The unconscious is not a mere void. It is a rich tapestry woven from the threads of our ancestral experiences, personal memories, and repressed desires. It is the wellspring from which our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors emerge. To neglect this realm is to remain blind to the forces that govern our lives. Within the unconscious resides the shadow, the parts of ourselves that we deny or refuse to acknowledge. These aspects are not inherently evil, rather they are the unrecognized facets of our personality. By confronting and integrating the shadow, we embark on the path of individuation. The journey toward becoming our true selves. Archetypes, too, dwell within the unconscious. These primordial images and motifs are universal across cultures and time periods. They manifest in our dreams, myths, and stories, guiding our behaviors and shaping our perceptions. Understanding these archetypes allows us to comprehend the deeper currents of the human experience. The journey of individuation is not an easy one. It requires courage to face the unknown, to confront the darkness within, and to reconcile the opposing forces of the psyche. Yet it is through this process that we achieve wholeness and self-realization. The unconscious is not a mere shadow lurking at the edges of consciousness, nor is it a passive container of forgotten thoughts. It is a living, pulsating domain, vast and enigmatic, a reservoir of the psyche that governs much of our inner life without our conscious awareness. To walk through life while remaining ignorant of its depths is to navigate with only half of the map, to act upon impulses whose origins we scarcely comprehend, and to be at the mercy of forces that shape our choices, our desires, and even our suffering. Within the unconscious reside those elements of the self that we have disowned, repressed, or failed to recognize. Yet these elements are not inert. They exert influence. They speak through symbols, dreams, and sudden, inexplicable emotions. In every dream we glimpse fragments of this hidden world. The images that arise are not random, but manifestations of archetypal patterns and primordial experiences embedded in the psyche across generations. These symbols carry meanings that transcend the personal. They connect the individual to the collective, to the shared tapestry of human experience. By attending to these symbols, by listening attentively to the whispers of the unconscious, we gain insight into aspects of ourselves that the conscious mind cannot articulate. In this way, the unconscious is not merely a repository of what we have forgotten, but a guiding force, a silent companion in the formation of character and destiny. The unconscious also holds the seeds of transformation. When the ego, with its limited perspective, encounters its unconscious counterpart, conflict often arises, an inner turbulence that is neither accidental nor destructive in a trivial sense. It is a necessary friction, a signal that growth is possible, that integration is required. The neglected or repressed aspects of the self demand acknowledgement, and when they are denied, they manifest indirectly, through projection, neurosis, or repetitive patterns that elude conscious understanding. To turn away from the unconscious is to court imbalance. To engage with it is to participate in the profound work of individuation, the process of becoming a whole, fully realized human being. It is essential to recognize that the unconscious is not merely negative or threatening. It is the source of creativity, insight, and spiritual depth. Poets, artists, and visionaries draw from it, often unconsciously, their works shaped by forces beyond deliberate control. The unconscious offers us dreams and intuitions, flashes of understanding that the rational mind cannot engineer, revealing possibilities for self-expression expression, and understanding of the world that lie beyond ordinary cognition. To explore the unconscious is to enter a realm where time and logic bend, where the boundaries between self and symbol blur, and where the hidden currents of the psyche rise to the surface. It demands patience, courage, and humility, for the truths it reveals are profound, often uncomfortable, but ultimately illuminating. In this reservoir, the psyche holds both the shadows we fear and the treasures we long to find. Engaging with it is not merely a psychological exercise, it is an encounter with the depth of our being, an invitation to discover what it truly means to be alive, whole, and aware. Within every human psyche exists a realm that we instinctively avoid, a part of ourselves that we disown, deny, or attempt to suppress. This domain is neither a moral judgment nor a superficial flaw. It is the shadow, a complex and often uncomfortable aspect of the self, that contains what the conscious mind refuses to acknowledge. The shadow is not inherently evil, yet it is frequently experienced as threatening because it confronts us with qualities that clash with our self-image or societal expectations. To ignore it is to remain fragmented, to act under the illusion of wholeness, while significant forces of our being operate unseen and uncontrolled. Yet, it is precisely through engagement with the shadow that profound personal growth becomes possible. The shadow manifests in many forms. Sometimes it appears in dreams, clothed in images of fear or hostility. Sometimes it emerges in projection, as qualities in others that provoke irritation, envy, or disdain. When we react to another with disproportionate emotion, it is often the shadow speaking, calling attention to what we have yet to recognize in ourselves. This is the first step toward integration, to recognize the reflection of the denied self in the external world, to see what has been hidden not as a foreign threat, but as a part of our own psyche yearning for acknowledgement. In confronting the shadow, we embark on a journey of self-knowledge that is both humbling and liberating, revealing dimensions of character that expand our capacity for understanding and empathy. The shadow is not merely a repository of weakness or undesirable traits. It is also a source of vitality, creativity, and energy. The elements we repress often contain potential that can be transformed when brought into conscious awareness. The suppressed instincts, passions, and drives that we deny in ourselves may, when integrated, become channels of expression that enrich life and deepen our sense of purpose. Personal growth, therefore, is inseparable from this reconciliation, for to deny the shadow is to deny a portion of one's life force. Engaging with the shadow requires courage, honesty, and patience. It is not an endeavor to eliminate darkness, but to understand it, to dialogue with it, and to allow it to speak through conscious reflection, dreams, and creative expression. In this process, the individual learns to navigate the tension between light and dark within, to balance conscious intentions with unconscious impulses, and to approach life with a fuller, more authentic presence. Ultimately, the shadow's role in personal development is paradoxical. It is simultaneously the source of inner conflict and the wellspring of growth. By embracing what is feared and hidden, by integrating the unacknowledged aspects of the self, the individual moves toward wholeness. The shadow teaches humility, self-acceptance, and the profound truth that the psyche is a dynamic and intricate whole, containing within it both darkness and light. In facing the shadow, we encounter the essence of our own being, and through this encounter, we cultivate the capacity to live more deeply, honestly, and fully. Beneath the surface of individual consciousness lies a vast and mysterious landscape shared by all human beings, a realm where recurring images, motifs, and patterns emerge across cultures and eras. These are not inventions of the imagination alone, nor are they mere products of social conditioning. They are archetypes, universal structures of the psyche that shape our perception, behavior, and experience. They exist independently of personal experience, arising from a collective unconscious that transcends the boundaries of time, geography, and language. Through these archetypal patterns, the human mind encounters forms and narratives that resonate with deep meaning, often without conscious understanding. Archetypes are most readily observed in myth, religion, and folklore, where heroes, wise elders, tricksters, and great mothers appear repeatedly, speaking to fundamental truths about the human condition. Yet they are not confined to stories. They manifest in dreams, fantasies, artistic expression, and even everyday relationships. When a figure appears in a dream carrying with it a sense of profound significance or inevitability, it is often an archetype expressing itself, guiding attention to aspects of the psyche that require recognition or development. These patterns are not prescriptive, they do not dictate behavior, but they provide a framework through which the human experience is organized and interpreted. The power of archetypes lies in their universality. Across cultures that have never interacted, remarkably similar figures and motifs emerge, suggesting that these patterns are embedded in the structure of the human mind itself. The hero's journey, the shadow figure, the nurturing mother, the wise old man, these are not merely literary tropes, but expressions of inner forces that shape thought, emotion, and moral orientation. In encountering these archetypes, consciously or unconsciously, the individual participates in a dialogue with the collective psyche, drawing meaning from forms that have guided humanity for generations. Archetypes serve both as mirrors and guides. They reflect aspects of the self that remain hidden or unacknowledged, while simultaneously pointing toward potential paths of growth and understanding. The appearance of a particular archetype may indicate a challenge, a lesson, or an opportunity for integration within the psyche. By recognizing these patterns, by attending to the symbolic language through which they speak, one gains insight into personal struggles and aspirations, perceiving one's life within a broader, more coherent context. Moreover, archetypes are dynamic rather than static. Their expression shifts according to historical, cultural, and personal circumstances, yet their core significance persists. They are the organizing principles of the unconscious, giving coherence to dreams, emotions, and imaginative experiences. In this way, archetypes link the individual to the universal, offering a profound sense of belonging to a larger human story while illuminating the unique journey of the self. To engage with archetypes is to engage with the deepest currents of the mind, to recognize the invisible threads that shape perception and behavior. Through this engagement, one discovers patterns that illuminate both personal destiny and collective human experience. In understanding archetypes, the mind opens to a dialogue with the eternal, encountering structures that have guided humanity through countless generations, and in doing so, the individual finds both insight and guidance on the path toward wholeness. The journey toward self-realization is neither linear nor effortless. It is a path that winds through the depths of the psyche, challenging the individual to confront both light and shadow. This process demands courage, for it requires facing aspects of the self that have been long ignored, denied, or repressed. To undertake this journey is to recognize that the conscious personality, with its carefully constructed image and habitual patterns, represents only a fragment of the whole. Beneath this familiar surface lies a vast interior landscape, a living, breathing complexity that contains unknown potentials, untapped energies, and unacknowledged truths. The task is to navigate this inner terrain with awareness, patience, and humility, seeking not to eradicate darkness, but to understand and integrate it. At the heart of this process is the recognition of the unconscious as a guiding force. Dreams, intuitions, and the spontaneous imagery that arise from within provide signals and symbols pointing toward what has yet to be consciously acknowledged. These manifestations are not arbitrary. They are expressions of the psyche's attempt to communicate with the ego, to bring hidden contents into light so that the individual may become more complete. Each encounter with the unconscious, whether through reflection, creative engagement, or emotional confrontation, is an opportunity to reconcile the known and the unknown, to bridge the gap between the superficial self and the deeper reality that lies beneath. A crucial aspect of this journey is the integration of the shadow, the disowned, denied, or feared aspects of the self. These elements are not adversaries but parts of a larger whole that, when acknowledged, provide strength, vitality, and authenticity. Resistance to the shadow prolongs inner conflict and perpetuates fragmentation. Acceptance fosters growth, insight, and psychological maturity. By facing what is hidden, the individual gains the capacity for empathy, self-compassion, and understanding, learning that wholeness is not the absence of darkness, but the harmonious interplay of all facets of being. Archetypal patterns also guide this inner journey. Figures such as the wise mentor, the nurturing mother, the heroic adventurer, and the transformative trickster emerge from the depths of the collective unconscious, offering direction, caution, or inspiration. They are not literal presences, but symbolic energies that shape perception, emotion, and decision-making. Attending to these archetypes allows the individual to see life's challenges and opportunities as part of a larger narrative, to recognize recurring motifs that carry meaning beyond the immediate circumstance, and to orient oneself toward growth and fulfillment. Ultimately, the journey toward wholeness is an ongoing, dynamic process. It is neither a destination to be reached nor a perfection to be attained, but a continual unfolding of self-awareness and self-integration. By embracing the unknown, engaging with the unconscious, and integrating shadow and archetypal patterns into conscious life, the individual moves toward a state of balance, authenticity, and depth. In this journey, the psyche becomes not merely a container of experiences, but a living guide, leading the individual toward the realization of the fullest expression of the self, a life enriched by meaning, insight, and the profound understanding that wholeness arises from the courageous exploration of the depths within. As we venture into the depths of the unconscious, let us remember that the journey is as significant as the destination. Embrace the unknown, confront the shadow, and seek the light within. For in understanding the depths of the mind, we unlock the potential for profound personal growth and enlightenment.